Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Coming to you guys on a Saturday, loaded slate of college football games today, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it. But on today's show, I want to dive into the final Minnesota Vikings and New Orleans Saints injury report and mainly talk about Justin Jefferson because I think he's got a better chance to play than most people think. Obviously, right now he is listed as questionable, so we dive into him. And then, honestly, the whole injury report because there's also big news around Christian Darrisaw that I want to get into. But before we dive into it, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We're going to be going live an hour before kickoff tomorrow. It's going to be a ton of fun. Our watch parties always are, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Help me out. Make me look a little good, to my bosses as well. So hit that sub button and let's dive into it. Vikings injury report, we'll start there. Obviously, Jaren Hall, big news around him. He got the concussion last week. He's not even going to dress. He will be out. And it was funny. I was looking back at the Vikings' three quarterbacks from September. It was Kirk Cousins, Jaren Hall, and Nick Mullins. Well, the dudes are running out there this weekend. It's Josh Dobbs, Tanner Morgan, and then Sean Mannion. Like three completely different quarterbacks in this room for the Saints game compared to where we were in September. So, that's pretty interesting. Vikings obviously have fought through so much adversity this year that we've, we talk about here a lot on the channel. But let's dive into the big news. Justin Jefferson. On Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, he was limited at practice. And that was a very, light limited. He didn't do any drills. He was just kind of hanging out on the sidelines, going through his own thing. So pretty much if I had to guess it right now, he would not play. But I also wonder if there's a little bit of a kind of gamesmanship right now from Kevin O'Connell, because from what we've heard, KOC said he is not playing. We're going to kind of save him from himself and not play him until he is 100% ready. Well, I understand like a hamstring injury could, keep you out 4 to 6 weeks, but what if Jefferson's okay right now? What if he is 100% and they just don't want to, give the Saints an extra edge? I don't know. Maybe that's my kind of wishful thinking being a Viking fan that he's going to play, but he is listed as questionable, so obviously we'll find that out tomorrow morning if he is going to play. But hey, the Saints have a really good secondary. Marcus Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, we broke them down on the channel this week. They're having an unreal year, both of them. And, we remember last year, Jefferson cooked Marshawn Lattimore in London. So I would have personally liked to see him, cook him once again. But I mean, this Vikings receiving core, I love Jordan Addison. I love guys like Brandon Powell and all that. But the Saints have a really good secondary, and I think the Vikings, for the first time all year, there's another team's cornerback group that is actually probably better than our wide receiver unit if Jefferson can't go. Obviously, if 18 can go, nobody can really hold us on that side of football. But yeah, Jefferson right now, that's big news. He is questionable. No real update on that besides there. But then Chris Reed's actually back. The guard center combo for the Vikes. It's funny. A couple years ago, we all thought he was going to possibly be the starting center over Garrett Bradbury, but he got hurt last year. Now he's back, and he's questionable for the game this weekend. Dean Lowry, the D lineman for the Vikes that we picked up from the Packers this offseason, he is doubtful as well. He got hurt during the Falcons game. He was a DNP on Wednesday, limited on Thursday and Friday. So he's questionable, or he's doubtful, probably not going to go. And then Asamoah could be back this week, the third-round linebacker out of Oklahoma. He's been limited all week. He's been dealing with that ankle injury, so he could probably go. But this is also another big one that I wanted to get to. TJ Hawkinson, he got popped in the ribs in the Falcons game, and he's been limited all week with rib injury. And it was same situation as Jefferson. They call him a limited participant, but he's really not doing much at practice. He was just kind of, pretty much a coach on the sidelines this week. So he is questionable. I'm assuming he'll go. I really hope he does because, if you don't have Jefferson or Hawkinson, this is a good Saints defense. And, Josh Dobbs, he had that magical run, last weekend, but, the Saints defense is way better than the Falcons defense. And, to do that without Jefferson or Hawkinson, it's going to be tough. So I'm hoping he can go, but, he is questionable. KJ Osborne, he's going to go. He got absolutely drilled against the Falcons, and he had a concussion, but he was a full participant this Friday, and he's just waiting to clear protocol, so he is technically questionable, but all signs are pointing to KJ being there, which is huge, because obviously, we talked about Jefferson and everything, him possibly not being there, having him next to Addison. He had a really good game a couple weekends ago in Green Bay when he put up over 100 yards, so KJ's kind of back this season after a pretty rough start. Him and Hawk had two really rough starts this season, but they've really turned it around. But some good news, Vikings injury news, Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle, is going to be back. So that is the big-time news for the Viking side of things, a big positive, obviously, because he's the best left tackle in the league. And, PFF agrees. Everybody agrees with it. I believe it. Darrisaw being the best left tackle in the National Football League, he is going to get paid this offseason. And listen, good to have him back, especially when you have, obviously Josh Dobbs, who, needs that protection up front. And obviously he does have that playmaker in his game, but obviously having the best left tackle in the league is going to help him out a ton. Listen, we're going to dive into the Saints side of things, the injury report. They got a couple key names on there. But first, I do want to give a huge shout out to Prize Picks. And we've told you about Prize Picks here before on the channel, but it's the #1 daily fantasy sports app, and it makes pretty much every game interesting. Like, I was watching the Bears-Panthers game this last Thursday. One of the most boring games I've ever watched, but because of Prize Picks, it made it way more entertaining. It's simple. All you got to do, pick 2 or more players, choose more or less on their projected stat types, and you guys can start rolling in the cash. And if you guys go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, and if you guys use code CLNS, you'll get a first deposit match up to $100. This weekend, I'm just going to go 2 quarterbacks. I'm going to believe in Gardner Minshew. I'm going to take more than 230.5 passing yards for him. And then CJ Stroud, he's got the hot hand down there in Houston. I'm going to take more on 253.5 for CJ Stroud. So if you guys want to get in on the fun, do it at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. All right, Saints side of things. They pretty simple, but they got 2 key names out. Isaiah Foskey, their edge that they took out of Notre Dame this last draft. He was a DMP all week with a quad injury. He is out. And Kendre Miller, their running back that they drafted this past year, DMPs all week with an ankle, so he is out. So it's going to be, Jamal Williams, Kamara getting most of the load from there. But Demario Davis, their stud linebacker, he's going to play. He was on the injury report all week with a knee injury, but he's ready to go, which, kind of stinks. He always has big-time games against the Vikes, it feels like. He's always making, like, a key play in the fourth, whether it's, like, Peanut Tillman punching a football out or, like, whatever it may be. I always feel like Demario Davis is there at the end of the game. So, he's playing. Kind of sucks for the Vikings, but, I'd rather have the Saints at full strength anyways for, Saints fans can, get the excuse train going. So, yeah, that's the Saints side of things. Adam Prentice, their fullback, he's questionable. Hey, you never know. Losing your fullback, that's a key part of your offense. That could be a detriment to the Saints this weekend. But, obviously, no huge news from their side of things. The big news for the Vikings is, will Jefferson play? I think if I had to call it like percent chance right now, I'd probably go less than 10. I'd probably still go around 7-8% chance. I just don't know if maybe Kevin O'Connell, if there is some gamesmanship there where he's been saying all week he's not playing, and then Sunday comes around, it's like, holy shit, number 18's activated. Let's go. Addison, Jefferson, Hawk, Dobbs, the new big 4 in Minnesota. But yeah, Justin Jefferson, questionable. That's big news. But thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, hit that sub button. We're gonna be live here on the channel about an hour before kickoff. Going through a whole pregame show, having a couple of drinks. It's always a ton of fun. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Tune in hour before kickoff tomorrow. Hopefully the Vikes get a win this weekend. See you guys later. Skol Vikes.